for this particular test, the reason why I originally created it many years ago was to teach myself. I wanted muscle stamina in the pressing position, and I wanted to teach myself how to control my heart rate under fatigue. So when I do it at the men's club, we do it every week. Most guys fail at about minute 5. Most guys, maybe
Christian, you're
even
gonna
3.
get 3x the average.
Welcome to the Best Hour of Their Day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez
and me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
We're here with the legend 2008 Games winner, Jason Khalipa. First thing I want to say, I just had this conversation with someone. I said, you are the most successful person to take your games winning and translate it to business.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
I'll take that.
I'll be full disclosure. They then said, no, it's Froning.
Yeah,
But I said, but my argument was this: when you won, first of all, one win, right? And then also so early on, you know, like Froning won four times, but it was also as the sport was booming. Like you did it when you could still sign up to win.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
a good point.
What you did from that winning is very impressive.
Yeah, and no, so thank you. And then but full disclosure though, it's like I took second and third and 13 and 14 and competed for like those 10 years. So obviously staying relevant in the sport and competing helped, right? I think that, just because you brought it up, I get the question a lot, or I used to, not as much anymore. When I opened our gym, I won the CrossFit Games and I graduated from college. I won the CrossFit Games and I opened the business all within like 2 weeks of each other. And because I knew I was going to open a gym because I had been working at the health club. And I got questions. This is for the next couple of years. I'd be teaching seminars for CrossFit and people would always be like, dude, so, must be nice to win the games and get all the influx of members. It's like, sure. Did it draw attention to our website? Did it bring notoriety? Of course, in the Bay Area, California. But ultimately, we had to have a great product on the floor and we had to be good at what we're doing. People will come in and they might hear of you, but if you give them a poor experience, they're never going to come back again. And so I just think that was always my mentality from day one is like, I'm going to give this person, to your point, the best hour of their day. And that was always the vision, regardless of who I was, what I had accomplished, because no one really cared at the end of the day. They just wanted to see results and be a part of a super cool community.
Right. To your point, your name, especially back in 2008, might have gotten them in the door, but they weren't staying if they were getting a bad experience.
Of course. Yeah. And I mean, and watching the evolution of CrossFit and being a part of it was like, I look back on those times. I had some really I've had a lot of really great memories, competing in CrossFit, traveling, teaching seminars, and it's just been an evolution. And I think that anybody listening as a gym owner right now who got into it in the earlier days, whether it's 2008, 9, 10, 12, 14, whatever, dude, of course you're going to be a different owner than you are today. Of course you're going to be a different person. I think that's okay.
Well, speaking of using your business and leveraging that, you and I both big Jiu-jitsu fans. Are you a big UFC fan?
I'm a good UFC fan, probably not nearly as into it as you are. It sounds like you consume a lot of like the fight, when it's on, I of course watch it. And now that I'm working with DC, I like watching his post-fight interviews just to kind of like, I don't know, it's engaging to me. But I wouldn't say I'm like a diehard. Actually, this might be surprising to people, but I don't really watch any sports of any kind. If my son has on baseball, I'll check it out. If someone's on football, I'll check it out, but I'm not like super into it.
No, I'm the same. The only sport I watch is UFC, and I watch a lot of like amateur college. And they got the new league going on, Real American Freestyle, I think it's called, college wrestling. But no, to your point about Daniel Cormier, DC, he has a show with Chael Sonnen, and he brought up your name, and I was like, oh my goodness, it made a little sense. You're California. I don't know how close you guys are to each other, but I was saying right before we recorded. So I believe what he was, it's interesting, listen to athletes that still don't understand CrossFit.
Uh,
So he said something like you were giving him these workouts, and then all of a sudden you gave him like a 12-minute workout with a lot of pull-ups.
oh yeah,
He was
yeah.
complaining how sore he was. But it was like hearing him talk about trying to explain what CrossFit was so funny to me, because you're like, this guy's clearly knows what he's doing from an athletic perspective, but it doesn't necessarily mean he understands fitness.
Yeah, so DC, he actually runs the Gilroy. He has like a Gilroy wrestling club, and they put out some of the best youth wrestlers in the world, specifically, definitely in the United States. And so I started working with their youth to help them on some programming to get them stronger, which has been, dude, that's been incredible. His son in particular has just gone. I mean, they're also like at that prime age, 8th grade. Some of them even take what they call like a red shirt year, where they redo 8th grade. So they go into their freshman year of high school at like 15 instead of 13 or 14. But nonetheless, yeah, I've been working with him every day for 46 days now. And, he's
So he
down
finished
20.
the 45.
Yeah, he's down 20 pounds. He's feeling good. This guy, Daniel Cormier is a really great example of what's possible if you commit yourself to something. I mean, obviously he's a 2-time champ in UFC. He's a Olympian, but the guy travels all the time. He's constantly on the road, constantly doing these things. But when I met with him the other day, I took him through some jumping pull-ups and he got pretty sore.
I think that's what he was referring. So are you near Gilroy? I hear him talking about Gilroy.
Yeah. So he's about 40 minutes from me.
I saw you dropped your daughter off for day 1 of high school. Is that where she's going?
Yeah. Well, no, she's not. Well, so she's going to school here in San Jose, but
Gotcha.
my daughter's 14, my son's 11, and my son's really interested in, basically baseball all day, every day, because that sport can consume you. I think he plays other sports, right? Like flag football, this, but my daughter this is just a quick note for all the parents out there. My daughter has had a very, for lack of a better term, dynamic life, starting off with leukemia and then having some other major issues a couple of years ago, more mental health side. It's been a really, really tough go. And if you had told me 15 months ago that she would be a goalie and playing water polo and starting high school, I would have said there's no way. But sure enough, it's happening. And so if you're going through something tough right now, just realize like that's a season. And if you're having a good season, embrace it, because seasons come and go with kids. And all you could do is just like battle through the hard times and embrace and enjoy the good times. So that's where I'm at right now.
I'm really happy to hear that, because I know in Dallas, you and I spoke briefly and you were mentioning some of this stuff about your daughter. So really happy to hear that. And yeah, I've got a 4 and 2-year-old. And I think about that a lot. Like, it's seasons. It's like, this isn't forever. And same for business ownership or anything in life. You're like, when you're younger, you're like, this is forever. I'm never going to get through this. And you're like, no, it's 3 months. It's 2 years, but you can make it through.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good analogy for business, right? I look at some of the things that have kind of shaped my mindset and the way that I kind of look at things. And one obviously was, and CrossFit played a big role in this, by the way, doing these hard things, competing. But the risk and reward obviously wasn't necessarily life and death. It was more of like, I'm trying to compete. Now, granted, there's more to that, but with the leukemia diagnosis, it really changed my perspective, right? And then with COVID, it really evolved my perspective as well. I mean, at the time of COVID, we had 30 locations, 7 of which were in California, and we were just shut down. Learning how to overcome that adversity and recognizing that life is going to be hard and we need to battle through the tough times and embrace the good times. Those are examples of what it's taught me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what CrossFit's all about. I want to talk more about that. You mentioned water polo. Is this like a huge thing in California? Because you're going to be at Affiliate Con. Kelly Starrett's going to be there, but the only thing he was waiting for was his daughter's water polo schedule before he committed.
I love that guy. So his daughter is like super advanced, got recruited by Cal, and he's all in. And so water polo is big out here in California. I think it's just big in general in other areas. I'm not quite sure. It's a new world for me. But what I do know is that CrossFit very fit people. But man, you throw us in the pool, like you put me in the pool, and my daughter will smoke me. Her ability to tread water and do the things they're doing is remarkable. And it's just a different level of fitness. Matt Chan and I were actually talking about it today. So yeah, it's big in California, but I think it's a difficult sport and it's awesome. I'm super excited for this season.
Your daughter, because she beat you in I remember my sister was a big high school swimmer, and I was like, I'll still beat you. And there was a distance I can beat her just based on strength. But then eventually you're just like, you blow up.
So Ava, I took her for the last couple of months every day. We've been training to get ready for tryouts for this team. And she will smoke me in treading water. Swimming, it's a little bit different. But if you're talking about just like treading water, she'll crush us. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I did not realize you used to be fat.
I was a little bit bigger. So it's funny.
You've been posting like this before, after, and I was like, I don't know if I missed it, if you've not shared this, but I was like, I had no idea.
So I have not seen under 200 on the scale since I was probably 12 or 13. And so I have not seen under 200. I've seen like 201. Even at one point I saw 200 because I was trying to cut weight during CrossFit, and I was actually trying to do something for jiu-jitsu not that long ago. Right now I'm 219 because I'm competing at 222 for a competition for jiu-jitsu. So I want to be basically,
Right.
I'm happy with where I'm at, more or less.
And then you throw the gi on and you're on weight.
Yeah, basically, right? I mean, I'd like to go in there probably like 217 just to be safe, but sure. But yeah, I was a big kid, you know. I raced BMX bikes, and you know, looking back on it, obviously I think if I was lighter, I probably would have been faster, but I was really into that. And I started freshman year, and I got big in high school, and I was a lineman. And so I got to like 260, 270, and I was just partying all the time, drinking a lot, and yeah, so I was bigger.
No,
Now, yeah.
Shocked me when especially like, you see people like you and you're like, they've always been like this. But so I would imagine, maybe I'm assuming that you don't drink ever.
Oh no. So now my relationship with alcohol has definitely evolved over the years, right? When I was in high school, I partied way too much. I learned a lot. College, I just woke up with like, bro, I got to be better. And then coming out of college, it's always kind of been there. I'm not like anti it. It's just when I was competing, it was just like a little bit less of a priority. But now at the current season I'm at, what I encourage all guys to do is to take it out for 45 days and then reintroduce it with a sense of really looking at it like with intention versus a crutch. So essentially where I'm at with it is I use it intentionally. My wife and I are going to Vegas. Boom. We're going to wine tasting. Boom. And using it as moments versus, hey, I'm going to come home every day from work and crush 4 IPAs. Like, I think that if you could look at alcohol as a tool to, celebrate with family and friends or do whatever, or that's just my relationship with it, but it shouldn't be a crutch where like on a regular basis, I feel like I have to do it, or I feel like you know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it.
No, 100%. I don't think I've had a drink like in 3 or 4 years. We were traveling for best hour. We were celebrating something, like me, Marcus, and Fern. I had one old fashioned and like didn't sleep. Right. And like I was wearing a Whoop at the time, and I was like, every time I'm red, what happened? I had one drink. I'm like, I tell people I'd love to be wasted. Like, I'll get naked, I'll party with you, but it's like, it's the sleep. And as you know, with young kids, I'm like, there's no catching up.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. But I like that.
We have a challenge. We put out a challenge a couple of months ago, and we had we had probably close to 1,000 guys participate in it. And I really wanted to see what was possible. And part of the challenge was, it was 45 days, no alcohol, 45 days, 45 burpees a day, getting in 45 grams of protein to kick off the morning, and then working out. And it's really interesting to me, especially for guys, women as well, but more so for guys, like just how quickly their body can adapt back to being fit and capable, especially if they used to be on that path where the alcohol starts to affect their sleep. And then if they don't sleep well, they can't train well. And like, it's just this whole cycle. And if you jumpstart the day with burpees, it just makes you feel like you're putting points on the scoreboard and winning for the rest of the day. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that people should manage and see what relationship they want to have with it. And I'm not here to say you should completely take it out or you should completely add it in. You got to find what works for you.
Is that the evolution of the Train 45?
Yeah. So basically, to kind of back up a little bit, I started NorCal CrossFit in 2008. We eventually expanded and grew, and that rebranded at one point to NorCal CrossFit. So, excuse me, it was CrossFit Santa Clara. Then we opened up a bunch of different CrossFit gyms. We're like, well, let's just have one brand. So then we called it NorCal CrossFit. That was like maybe 2-3 years in. Then as we expanded and grew, we started getting corporate wellness accounts. We were working with GoPro and Twitter and all over the place. We're like, hey, let's have one brand that's kind of synonymous across the different programs we offered. Because at the time, we didn't just offer CrossFit. So we branded to NC Fit. Some lessons there I definitely learned. I think in hindsight, maybe I would have done some things a little bit different for sure. Fast forward, right? We still have NC Fit. We still own and operate brick and mortar gyms. We have the NC Fit Collective that services gym owners. But about 2 years ago, I really started finding a passion for helping law enforcement and helping men. And so I started, we grew corporate contracts with Customs and Border Protection and different law enforcement groups like San Jose PD. And I started hosting free men's club workouts in a parking lot 2 years ago. And I've done that every weekend since. And we rolled out an organization called Train Hard. So right now I'm the founder, owner of NC Fit, which is focused on gym owners, coaches, etc. And also Train Hard, which is an online platform to help men train hard so they can protect and provide.
I love it. I've seen a lot of what you've been doing, and I think like we talked about with seasons, like every man, probably something to do with fatherhood in there, like comes to that point of like, one, I need to surround myself with other men. Like we get to that point in life where it's like, we don't, especially now, we don't actually physically see other dudes and hang out. So tell me more about it. Is it, you have your challenges where you do 45 protein, 45 burpees, no alcohol. And then what was the,
It just get that, and then just your daily workout. Yeah.
I think a daily work. Are the burpees meant to be first thing, or are they any time of the day?
In general, I like to hit them first thing, and you could do 15 every minute for 3 minutes. You could do 9 every minute for 5 minutes. There's a variety of ways you could do it. I just think the burpee is like foundationally just such a beautiful tool because it's so low in, like it's like anybody could do it, more or less, and you don't need equipment. And it's just a great way to get your body moving. So that's why we did it.
Yeah, I saw your 15 burpee EMOM.
So the Train Hard burpee test, this is something that for everybody listening, if you want to give it a shot, it's 15 burpees every minute on the minute. It started off as a 10-minute thing. I've been doing this for probably 15 years. And my standard is you don't need to jump and clap. Just go to the ground and stand back up again. If you want to jump and clap,
you don't need to leave the ground.
What's that? No, you just stand back up again. It's like, okay. and a lot of Jason, that's kind of evolved for me, right? Like back in the day when I was doing this and I was traveling, I would do it just like a quick thing that I would do in the room. 15 burpees allowed me to kind of hit like that 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. And I probably used to jump and clap because I was just used to it. But now that I'm not competing, I'm thinking more so like from a grappling perspective, I just want to get to the ground and stand back up again in a position of like defense, right? Like hands are up, back down, hands are up.
I like it. Hey, Christian, you're on here still, right? Come on here for a second.
Uh-oh.
He's upset still because you made fun of his headphones.
Dude, so for the record, Christian had the largest airplane headphones I've ever seen on. Ever. They're set a record.
I brought you on, Christian, because I was curious to see what you think, how many rounds you think you could do.
15 burpees a minute?
Yeah. Christian's got a 16-year-old son, birthday. Was he 17 now, actually?
No, he just turned 16
on Monday. I texted him, said happy birthday, but also like a 16-week-old daughter. Mm-hmm. So he's in it right now. So I thought this might be a good one. How many do you think you can get? How many minutes? I'll have a competition with you.
I think you can do 15.
For 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15 a minute for 15 minutes.
There is a 0% chance you can do that. I will bet you. I'll speak on Fern's behalf. I'll bet you a raise right now. Are you crazy? That is the most absurd. That's 200.
Christian, you guys are negotiating what that raise is. 10%, 20%.
You don't know Christian more than 5 minutes, but tell him that's absurd.
Christian, I need to see a full frame. I got to understand your training in the past. Here's what I will say about the burpee test. Full disclosure. If you give Christian 3 attempts, I think he could get 15. Just looking at, I mean, if it like, but
This
The
is
thing
a
is,
good angle. This is a good angle for Christian.
there's a lot of technique involved because you need to basically, so the technique I use is I'm on a mat, I go barefoot, I drop to the floor, I come back up again, and I try and keep my heart rate super low. And if you allow it to spike, you're screwed. And so the first time around, you kind of don't know how to pace it. And then after that, you got to go slower, basically.
Interesting you say that. I saw you on, I don't know if you were on his or there's a collab with Chris Williamson, right? You were working out with him. You were doing an EMOM with him.
Oh, was it Chris Williamson or was it with Black Rifle?
I'm almost positive it's Chris Williamson. You're doing so many podcasts these days, you don't even remember. He's a
Yeah.
big name.
Well, anyway, yeah.
But you were doing an EMOM and you were kind of explaining it to him. Like most people is like, well, shouldn't I just go hard and have more rest? And it's like, no. Like that's a big mistake. You need to stay even keel.
And it started off as always 10-minute EMOM. And what I eventually did was increase the reps from 15 to 16 to 17. That was the most I ever did.
Ooh.
But lately we're like, hey, let's switch it up. So when I do it at the men's club, we do it every week. Most guys fail at about minute 5. Most guys. Maybe
you're going to get 3x the average.
And if you get past 5, if you get past 10, it's all mental after that. It's like, so that's the standard.
All right. So Christian, I can't promise you a raise. Fern will be very upset, but I'll make a personal bet. We can discuss the winnings after. Let's go round 1. Who gets the furthest? Me and you. And then first to get to 15.
Well, like how many times
No,
it takes?
just like whoever gets there in life. Like, so
yeah.
Because that is. Do you want to retract your statement? I want to give you an opportunity to go back and take that back.
No, I'll try it.
But you realize
The difference between you and me, Jay, is I'm not afraid to be wrong.
Yeah, but 225 burpees in 15 minutes. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I feel like you've never done. Do you know what CrossFit is? Do you need to go take your level 1 again?
No, I crush burpees. Burpees are easy for me. I'll do it.
All right.
Christian, hit me up. I'll give you the cheat codes. You got to just move with purpose, but keep your heart rate low. And so my best is 23 minutes.
Wow.
But I think that I can get 30 if I just stopped being weak mentally. Like the thing is, like this sounds weird. Once you get past, once you know you have the capability to get past 15, a lot of it is mental. And originally when I set the goal, for so many years, I thought 10 minutes was like the holy grail. And then a buddy of ours got 30 minutes. I'm like, no way. So I set the goal at 20 minutes. Well, after I got to 20 minutes, I mentally started to break down like, oh, well, my goal was 20. I already doubled what I thought was possible. And then I just got weak. So the next time I do it, I'm going to go for 30.
All right. Well, you could have Khalipa in your corner. How about this? We do it at Affiliate Con.
Oh, we are doing that at Affiliate Con.
All right. Yes. Khalipa's there coaching you. I don't need a coach. I'm a one-man show, and we'll see who gets further. Like, I love it because now I have a goal to train for. That's cool. Jason, you do it with us. See if you can get 30 at Affiliate Con.
I will do it with you. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about this? I know you're going to be there. Like, let's open it up. Let's get everybody. Let's have a breakout at Affiliate Con where everybody can participate and be a part of this.
So let's talk about for Affiliate Con. I'm very excited about it. I will be giving multiple presentations or speeches, but I'll also be hosting a workout. Now, typically when I host the workouts, I've been doing these large group workouts for many years. They're my favorite thing to do. Let's talk about it, Jason, about for that particular workout. Normally what I would do is I would add in like 3 minutes of the burpee test just to give some people, normally I use it as a coaching opportunity to teach about breathing and cadence. But if we want to make this as part of a test, let's talk about how to do that. I think it'd be great to bring it to your event.
And I'll throw, the firm will allow this. We'll give a prize to the winner while we're there. Like maybe we can do something with you, like something with Train 45. But then
a Yeti cooler to the person who goes for an hour.
For an hour, yeah. Cool. Well, no, we'll talk more about it. And yeah, speaking of Affiliate Con, you're one of the 4 keynotes. You, Hinshaw, Kelly Starrett, the other water polo dad, and then Jason Fernandez snuck in there somehow. He must know the founder. But, it's going to be great because those keynotes no one else is speaking at that time. You're going to get to hear about, everything that Khalipa has to talk about. Specifically, correct me if I'm wrong, this is where you're really diving into like tough times. And you can
Yeah,
hop off, Christian, if you need to.
So for people who aren't attending yet, I'm super excited. Chris Hinshaw, obviously, he's been, one of my close friends and running coaches for years. Kelly Starrett, again, close friend, mobility expert, just all around incredible guy. And, when you talk about guys who really like embody the code, those are two that really stand out to me. And I've spent a lot of time with both of them. So
That's cool.
I'm honored to be, and then, Fern's going to be there, right? Yeah. You just said, yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
So
But I like how you didn't have anything nice to say about
no,
it. Like that.
Fern, incredible human. I just haven't spent as much time. I mean, these other guys I've spent so many.
As someone who has spent equal amount of time with Fern as you got, like, I can tell you did the right thing.
So, but I think that, for me, I'm going to be speaking on mindset, overcoming struggles, the AMRAP mentality, which I'm really excited to speak on, and just kind of looking at business ownership, looking at life through a lens of like my dad, he came from Iran and he came right before there was a big revolution there. And he always taught me like this idea, like life is going to be hard. And what can we do about it? Well, what we could do about it is be as prepared as possible, physically, mentally, emotionally, with our relationships, obviously within our business. Those are really key things. And it's like, what can we do today to put us in the best position that when life gets hard, because it will, we're going to be as prepared as possible. And COVID taught us that. I mean, any coach listening to this, they remember what it feels like to coach their last class before you shut down. You might have shut down for a week, a month, or 18 months like we did here in California, but you remember that moment, right? And how do we best prepare for that moment?
Yeah, I had a conversation with a local affiliate owner here. She trains jiu-jitsu. I met her. I did her level 1, level 2, and then she showed up at where I train jiu-jitsu. She's a beast. She just got her blue belt, Monique, and she owns Boulder CrossFit. Like a beast. Like I'm underselling. Like she smashes dudes, and she's this tiny girl. And she was talking about affiliate ownership and going through some of the struggles. And I told her, I was like, hey, this is really normal. And it was this massive like sense of relief over her. Because sometimes like just reframing it as like, oh, this is normal. I should be going through this, changes the entire outlook on it.
That's right. And then there's this whole point where like, I'm not saying like COVID or financial strain or whatever. They also are like stress tests that level you up. I know we came out of COVID and we implemented 10-minute blocks in between classes. We implemented class reservations. We implemented cancellation. We implemented certain things that like, it almost gave us an opportunity to level set. And I think that sometimes certain situations come up that allow you, although at the moment they're very difficult, when you look back at them in hindsight, they taught you something and you were able to kind of like, almost like catapult yourself from where you were before because of that hardship.
What's another time in your life you can think of that helped you level up and, adversity brought you to a new level?
I mean, I think competing in CrossFit taught me a lot about adversity, and it gave me a goal every year to shoot for. I competed year round for so many years that, I had a mindset coach that worked with me. I think that my ability to try and excel at the sport incredibly impacted my ability to perform at work as well, because all the same tools you're using to try and compete and win in CrossFit, all those same tools apply in the business space. How are you showing up? What's your attitude like? What does your work ethic look like? What are you doing to put yourself in the best position to be successful? Are you earning your confidence every single day? All of those things that make you successful at a sport can then directly translate. That's why you see a lot of people who are successful in sports also thrive in other areas, because it's the same characteristics that apply. And so for me, it was having great coaches around me, having a great team around me, and then constantly asking myself to level up. And that's what I'm doing today, more so as a husband, as a father, and in business than I am in athletics.
Well, and jiu-jitsu does the same, right? Like when you finish jiu-jitsu, you've been choked, you've been, arm-barred, you've gotten out of breath. And it's like, nothing today is going to be harder than that.
Dude, it's funny. You showed me your lip before we started recording, and you got like a nice little maybe elbow or whatever it was.
Forehead.
Forehead. On my nose, I have like a little,
yeah.
that was from yesterday. And I went through Shark Tank, and I'm getting ready for a tournament here at the end of the month. And what Shark Tank is, and there's all different ways you could do this, but in general, what Shark Tank is for people who are unfamiliar, it's like one guy's being prioritized and the rest of the guys are basically there to make his life harder. And there's all different ways you could do it. But the way I did it was 1 minute round with 5 different guys for 4 rounds. So I would stay in the middle for 5 total minutes and have a new guy every minute. So they're fresh. And we did that 4 times.
CrossFitters, I've purchased hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment in my life. I've been doing CrossFit since 2007. I've owned 4 affiliates. I currently own an affiliate in my basement. And let me tell you this, Rep Fitness is by far my favorite equipment. First of all, it's amazing quality. The price is right. And what I love is I talk to somebody that I know, that knows me, and that understands my needs. Now, cool thing is, as a family member of Best Hour, you can save big over at Rep Fitness. Go to repfitness.com/best hour and save on your next equipment purchase.
When some guy jumps on your back and tries to choke you, like overcoming that makes the rest of the day that much easier.
Well, especially in that, I love a good Shark Tank. And especially when it's like you're tired and in your mind, it would be very easy to be like, he's fresh. I can feel sorry for myself right now. Right. But then remembering it's not going to matter at Worlds. I was wrestling with Reed, 57-year-old former Olympian, Ohio State wrestler, MMA fighter. And we were just in a scramble and he came up with his head. And like, I was like, I looked at him. I was like, are my teeth still there? And he was like, yeah. He's like, do you want to go again? I was like, yeah. Right. Cause it's like, cool. Like I'm good. And like, it was, I just love it when people are like, why do you train jiu-jitsu at 47 and 40? It's like for that, like, I love that. I love waking up feeling like my body's been worked.
I think that I don't know if there's space for at your event to do like a little something. It's probably too late, but
well, Steve Haydock's going to be there.
Steve. Yeah.
Black belt, right?
Yeah. Black belt out of Missouri, right?
Yeah. We can work on it. Yeah.
So, the thing about a lot of CrossFitters is that they initially got interested in the sport or in the program because of the complexity. Many people got interested. I remember the moment I got my first name the thing, muscle up, handstand push-up, snatch. I remember the first time I snatched 300 pounds. It was like I had been working my whole life to get to that point or whatever, right? And a lot of people forget the number. It doesn't matter. Just like as you're chasing something, there's something very cool about that in fitness that you don't get in many other programs. Well, at some point in CrossFit, you get to a point where like you've learned how to walk on your hands. You've learned how to do these things. And especially for me, it was hard for me to get better at that. I only was getting worse because I stopped competing professionally. What jiu-jitsu has provided me is it provides me a daily outlet to mentally learn new skills, which is super rewarding. So my fitness side is being taken care of by our programs, but I'm not really learning new things. But in jiu-jitsu, I constantly learn new things. So if you're out there right now and you've been doing CrossFit for a long time and you have a deep desire to continue to kind of like hit that next gear of depth of learning, go try jiu-jitsu. I promise it'll change your life.
It's really cool. You see, whether it's like Monique, a younger woman or older men getting started, because you hear all the time about how you need to use your brain to, keep going. And it's like, we always think like crossword puzzles. It's like, but jiu-jitsu is the same thing. You're learning and you're immediately putting it to use.
For sure.
All right. Last thing before you go, I did mention Slack and I'm interested to hear what you were going to say about that.
Yeah, I just think from a business perspective, we've evolved over the years and, Jason, I mentioned about using Slack and I brought up the fact that years ago, one of our team was like, hey, we need to switch to Slack. And I was pretty resistant of it. At the time, we're using emails, text messages, basically everything but Slack. And for those unfamiliar with Slack, it's basically a communication tool with your team, but it segments into different groups. You could do external chats. It's pretty awesome. And I was just reluctant and I was resistant because it was change. It was different. And I had been doing the same thing for 15 years. And I think, I committed to it. And here we are, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years later. And I'm super grateful. It's the only platform I'd ever recommend for our team. It's a good example in business that you need to constantly evolve and be open-minded. And I think that if you're a gym owner that's been in the space for a decade, there's still so much more we could learn, not necessarily just as a coach. Of course, we could do that. We could provide a better product, but also like what business tools are available to me? What AI tools are available to me to improve my business, to improve my execution? How do I serve my team better, my employees better, and not just get stuck in this, like, I've done it this way and that's the way we're going to do it, right? Because that's not good leadership. You have to be open-minded and evaluate. So that's why I wanted to bring up Slack, is because I wasn't being that way, and it took me longer than it should have to be open-minded enough to go explore that.
I thought you were going to have a way to teach Fern how to reply in the thread. That's where I thought we were going. We've been using Slack 5 years. I cannot get Fern to reply in the thread.
Do you at channel it and at Fern it, and he still doesn't listen? Like, you got to at channel, at Fern, at
We've
Fern.
tried everything. I understand it's a little more complicated. Like when you use it on your phone, it's not as user friendly like as the computer. But I'm like, hey, I figured it out. We can get you to do it. But nonetheless, you're absolutely right. With our affiliate owners, we've had resistance. But I'm like, if you're operating your coaches on text message, you're going to lose things. Things are going to fall. It just also looks amateur versus professional. So, it does help to level up. So
yeah. And I think that's one of the key things I want to talk about at your event is like, dude, like gym owners chose this life. No one even forced them to it. And if you're not where you want to be, and if you want to grow, you have to be open-minded and treat your business like a business and not as a hobby. It's the bottom line. Like if you could love what you do and you could love your business like I do, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still your business and it needs to provide for you, for your family, and for your staff. And if you treat it as a hobby, it will never achieve what it's capable of achieving. You need to approach it like a business. And with the business, there's systems and procedures and there's multiple people. And it'd be like me saying, hey, I love to cook. I'm going to go open a restaurant. Well, just because I love to cook doesn't mean I should open a restaurant. There's a lot of other factors. Just because you love to coach doesn't mean you should open a business. There's so many other factors. And you should just be mindful of that. Like, treat your business like a business and not like a hobby. And what the lens you'll look at it through will evolve how financially you perform and how your members receive their service.
Absolutely. I love to hear that. I mean, just yesterday I was on a call with great clients from Miramar Beach, Preston and Ashley, and he's a massive dude. He was a bodyguard for like pretty wealthy, famous people. And this past year he said, I'm not going to do that anymore, even though it pays a lot. I'm going to focus on the gym. And it was this massive uptick in revenue. And it was like, you gave up something, but you dove all in. And just to see that, and not to mention, he was like, plus I get to be home with my wife and my kids and all these other, benefits that came from it. But like you said, we're not treating this like a hobby anymore. This is our business. And we've seen it time and time again when people dive in, when people do the things you just mentioned, where it's like, I'm not just here to work out. I'm here to create systems and procedures and policies. It's massive. So Jason,
and it has to be done. But and Jason, like, it has to be done. Think about the risk and liability you take on as a business owner. Like, why take on that risk and liability when you can go work for somebody else? If you're not making any money, like, dude, you're taking on a lot. You have no other obligation but to treat it like a business if you choose to go down that path, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as we're concerned as well. So absolutely. I was going to say, Jason Khalipa, keynote at the inaugural Affiliate Con, Dallas, Texas, October 24th, 26th. Like you said, you're giving a great keynote, one of the 1 hour talks that we have there. And you're also doing some workshops, potentially leading some workouts. We're going to put something together for this Burpee Imam, because I want to watch Christian jump. Like, I'm sorry that you had to experience that, Jason. That's all I could say. Like, I did not think he was going to be, I don't know if he was lying. I don't know if he just was caught off guard.
Oh, Christian? Oh, with the 15?
With the 15. Like, I'm as shocked as you are, I think. Like,
I'm not shocked. I think Christian's got it. Just warm up a little bit, do some arm circles, and you're ready to go.
What is with your optimism with Christian?
I mean, just look at his beard. Look at his mustache.
It's the mustache. Christian, I'll be pumped for you if you do it.
It's going to be so good. Well, on that note, I help run the social media with Haley. And so if you're going to be an affiliate con and you want to do the Burpee Challenge with me, with Ackerman, with Khalipa, and you're going to train for it, tag us in the story, tag Khalipa, tag Best Hour of Their Day. Let us know you're going to be there. And I will also tag my training as I lead up to it, Jay.
I'm training for it. That's it. I'm in. So Jason,
Post the bits.
let's get some. Assuming you want to perform your best, you mentioned keep your heart rate low. You mentioned a ton of it's mental and mindset. Let me ask you from a training perspective, being that you're going to be putting in, 45 to 225 burpees, do you recommend this as a daily thing? If you were trying to get your best score every other day, how would you prepare for this?
Yeah, I think there's one of two routes depending on where you're at physically. If you're like a typical gym owner, moderately good shape, I would recommend that you start off and you try it. You say, okay, I'm just going to give this thing a shot. I'm going to do 15 burpees. I'm going to rest the remainder of the time. I'm going to repeat that with the intention and goal of getting to 10 minutes. That's my intention. You're probably not going to get there. Realistically, most people listening to this is going to get to minute 4 and they're going to be smoked.
Except for Christian.
And if that's the case, take a deep breath, relax, be like, all right, I'm okay. And try and incorporate it maybe like once or twice a week leading up to AffiliateCon in that same format. Outside of that, I'd recommend intentionally just creating EMOMs as part of your warm-up that are 2 to 3 minutes of 15 burpees a minute. So this way you're not overtaxing the system. You're like, all right, I'm going to do 45 burpees. I'm going to do 9 a minute for 5 minutes, or I'm going to do 15 a minute for 3 minutes. And then the final piece is if you're kind of out of shape, you're newer to fitness, I'd recommend go out in a minute and do like at 75% effort, whatever burpees you can get in 40 seconds, whatever that is. Let's just call it 10. Then that's your benchmark, and try and hold that for the minutes you can.
So that last one was for you, Ackerman. That's where you start.
Dude, if we went and did it right now, I'm 100% certain I would beat you.
Dude, if we get people at the AffiliateCon, Jason, I've done this with more groups than I could count. The best group I've seen do it was Custom and Border Protection. They just got out of their selection process for their SRT. I had a group of 20 guys, all of them complete 10 minutes. I was shocked. I've never seen it before. I had a group of probation department. Dude, they got through like 2.5 minutes, and these people were sizzling. No one made it past 3 minutes. So that's the range, right?
All right, AffiliateCon's going to represent. This is going to be a big deal.
Dude, so what if we get AffiliateCon? What if we get everybody to get over the baseline of 5 minutes? I would be so
5 minutes, not 3, 5?
Well, 3 minutes is like your minimum standard.
Okay.
5 minutes is like our train hard standard, and 10 minutes is my standard.
All right, let's go. How many people can we get? Oh, well, the goal is 100% over 5 minutes.
If we had the workout get 5 minutes, I would be out of my mind.
All right, we're going to work for that, Christian. So, and I want to ask a couple more follow-ups to get people prepared. As you were going through this, I'm thinking, is there benefit to doing some rounds where you go all out to prepare? Like, hey, would you do a 3 minute? Like, I'm going to smoke myself intentionally.
No, you got to stay aerobic as long as you can.
But you wouldn't look at it like CrossFit, where it's like, if I go this hard.
No, think about it more like your zone 2 type training. Like
zone 2.
You want to develop efficiency in the movement pattern versus like, because you'll develop capacity just by training it. You don't want to look at it like I'm going to sprint. In my opinion, that's the best case. Yeah.
It's like running a 10K. Like, you don't want to go too hot out of the gate, because then you're not going to make it to the end.
I mean, I've been doing a ton of EMOM since watching you on that. Like, it's almost, I want to say it's like all I've done since really listening to you talk about it, especially for the benefits of you have kids. Like, I get the most volume in 20 to 30 minutes. Like, and I love just kind of tweaking it. I do, a lot of pull-ups, dips, GHD, like sprinkled in with some barbell stuff. But I'm going to incorporate this for sure. One last question about what would you say is the sweet spot for 15? Like, what's your ideal time?
Yeah. So you want to be at 10 at 30 seconds to 31 seconds, and you want to be at 15 by 47 seconds.
You're essentially doing burpees for like 5 straight minutes. I mean,
but you're not going fast, right? So you're just dropping the floor, back up again, and you want to create a breathing cadence. So think about it like swimming. Nice, smooth stroke. Just finding your breathing cadence, because you need to keep your heart rate down. That's why it becomes, for people that are really fit, it becomes 100% a mental test, because you can just keep going forever, but you break down mentally.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm excited to have a a goal. And also I'm interested to see what not jumping does, because all I'm thinking about is jumping, because that's what we've learned. So I'm wondering I'm assuming it's going to make it a little bit less taxing, but I'm interested to find out. The benefit you've had, Christian, is you've never jumped on burpees. So it's essentially how you've always done them. So I love it. And by the way, so let's do this. I'm going to guarantee one thing. Best score, free ticket to AffiliateCon next year. 2 free tickets. Bring a guest. Fern, sorry about that. We're going to throw in some other packages. For something like this, I think it's important to not only reward the fittest, but maybe like the spirit of, like the games does, like someone that's tried their hardest. So we're going to put some stuff together. I think this is a big deal. And also, while we're on it, I don't want to neglect, where can people find out about the Train 45? So if they're into this, again, incorporating the other, virtues that you mentioned of no alcohol, the nutrition, et cetera.
Yes. I mean, if you're a gym owner out there and you want session plans, programming for your gym, you could go check out nc.fit. That's the website. You can go to nc.fit on Instagram. If you're a guy out there or a girl who's inspired by the message of Train Hard, you can go to the Train Hard Instagram. You can go to my Instagram. A lot of that messaging is more geared towards men who just want to be able to train so they can protect and provide. And those are 2 great resources. Again, at AffiliateCon, I'm going to be talking more from the gym owner lens, but I'm also going to be navigating as a parent, as a husband. I think those type of things are really, really important because it all plays into one factor. And in regards to the Train Hard Burpee Challenge, let's definitely connect. I mean, I wasn't expecting us to, advertise this or whatever on this, but I think there's going to be a really awesome way to incorporate it in the morning workouts in a very, for lack of a better term, inclusive way. I've done this a lot of times. I want people to feel excited about this, maybe a little bit nervous, but not really. I want them to be excited, fired up. And then maybe separately, we could do the whole all right, let's go meet us at, 4 a.m. and let's see who can go the longest. But I think for the workout that I'm hosting, I really want it to be dude, everybody show up. I want everybody at the workout.
Yeah, no, as like I said earlier, I think maybe we do a raffle. As long as you participated, you're entered to win. So all you have to do is show up and be willing to give it a go, and you'll be entered to win something. I love it. I'm super pumped because I'm selfishly excited to have a goal. So it's really cool to have this in mind.
Hit me up. Let me know what you get your first time around.
All right, I worked out this morning. I'll do it.
Time around. You're pretty built for it, Jay. You're
short. He just said I'm short, is what he said.
No. You have a jiu-jitsu background, you have a fitness background, and you're not 6'5", so you're more built for it than
all Christian's hearing is why I have the advantages. But no, back in the day, we've done you ever do the day 1, you do 1, day 2, you do 2, etc. So my best ever was 456 for 100.
100 wait.
100 burpees in 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
That's 20 a minute.
20 a minute, right? So I mean, I'm thinking about that. Granted, that was probably 17 years ago. But yes, my body, I've not grown, surprisingly. So
I think you've shrunken.
It might have shrunk. It's an advantage in this situation, so it's good. But no, and then
your nose has probably gotten bigger though.
If anybody has been listening, they're still here. By the way, use the code Kalipa, and you get $100 off your ticket to AffiliateCon. So,
we should have started with that. We should have started with.
You've been, I think people are here just to hear the insanity that Christian has been spewing. So they're still listening. Kalipa, $100. I'm so pumped. This has been great.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I'm pumped about it too. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, we'll fill you in. We'll get you going, and we'll see everybody October 24th to 26th, Dallas, Texas. Hey, good luck to is this water polo season?
Yeah, it's starting.
Good luck to Ava, and congrats, man. That's crazy. He's just barely out of diapers. I got a kid barely out of diapers. You got one going to high school. That's nuts.
I know. We started early.
You did. I started late. Christian, you got one of each now. So congrats to you. Congrats to you and Kayla. All right, Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.